Michael Spitzley, and I would like to tell you a little bit about my life story. I was born on March 5th, 1834. I was the fourth of six children of Johann Jacob Spitzley and Anna Marie Kleckner Spitzley in the village of Providence of Prussia in northern Germany. In 1846, when I was 11 years old, my parents made the decision to move our family from Germany to America. I remember this as a time of much discussion and prayer. Germany was a very economically depressed country at the time, and providing for a family of six children was very difficult. The thought of sailing across the ocean to a new beginning was very frightening for my parents, but for me at the age of 11, it sounded like a great adventure. It was a very long sea voyage, lasting 53 days. Upon arrival in America, we had to travel across the country to Detroit, and once there, start the difficult journey across rough roads and trails to Westphalia. Our family were the first Spitzleys from Germany to settle in Westphalia. There was much happiness and celebrating when we arrived, meeting new friends and reconnecting with friends we knew from Germany who had journeyed before us. After all the celebrating of successful travels was over, it was time for my father to start thinking of building a future for his family. On June 21st, 1847, my father purchased property 2 miles west of Westphalia. This homestead is now owned by Leroy Nurnberg, who is the great-grandson of my brother Anton. I lived in this home with my parents, brother, and 4 sisters until I married. That was such a wonderful time. I met the beautiful Susanna Simon here in Westphalia. She was born in Putzfeld, Germany, the daughter of Peter Simon and Anna Marie Verzen Simon. She and her family had made the voyage across the sea 2 years before my family did, and I'm so glad that they did. We were married on February 13th, 1855. This was a beautiful double wedding celebration along with Susanna's brother, John Simon and Anna Klein. We were married in St. Peter's Church by Father Godez. Yes, St. Peter's Church. The church in Westphalia was called St. Peter's until it was renamed St. Mary's in about 1870. Susanna and I started married life on a farm 2.5 miles southwest of Westphalia. Life was very busy for us, as it was for everyone in those days. We started our family and Susanna was busy with children and the work around the home. I worked on our farm and I also started a saloon business in town. We saved up our money and after 10 years, moved our family into town, where I also opened the general merchandise store. We lived in a house right downtown at this time, which was located at the site that is now Tropical Sun Fitness. Susanna and I lived here for a number of years until I built our permanent home 1.5 blocks west of the center of town. Westphalia was a bustling town at this time, and we were blessed with many businesses serving the needs of the residents of the town and the surrounding areas. People did not need to travel far for food, clothing, household, and farming needs. We were also a community that was blessed with many talented and creative people who helped our village continue to grow. As the village grew, it became necessary to establish a council to guide the village on a continuing prosperous path. In 1883, I was humbled and proud to be elected the first president of the village of Westphalia. I held this position for 5 years until 1888. In 1905, Susanna and I had the joy of celebrating 50 years of marriage, along with her brother John and his wife Anna. From the old St. Peter's Church where we were married, which was still standing and then occupied by William Bohr as a tin shop, we celebrated the 50th anniversary of our marriages with a high mass in the new brick St. Mary's Church. our children and grandchildren all came back to help us celebrate, along with countless friends and neighbors. There was food, music, and dancing to help us all celebrate this joyous occasion. It is always wonderful to celebrate 50 years of marriage, but when two couples are able to celebrate that milestone together, it makes it just that much more special. Susanna and I had a happy 50 years together. We had 12 children, 8 girls and 4 boys. All but one grew up, married, and lived in either Westphalia or Fowler. However, the saddest day of our lives was the day that our daughter Susanna died at 13 months of age. She is buried right here, close to her mother and I. Her death made us cherish the lives of our children all the more. After our anniversary celebration, I continued running my 2 businesses, caring for my family and enjoying life with family and friends. In 1907, I helped establish the first bank in Westphalia, the Westphalia State Bank. This was another step forward for our community to continue growing and being a self-sufficient town. At this time, I was also named president of the bank, a position I held until 1912, when suddenly, while walking home from the bank, I collapsed with a heart attack in front of the home that later became the residence of Torrance Troyne. Some men from the town carried me home, where I passed away at 6 a.m. the following morning. I was 78. This was on May 1st, 1912. Susanna had passed away 6 years prior, on August 23rd, 1906. She was 67. When my son Joseph married Elizabeth Pung, they lived with Susanna and I, caring for us as we grew older. They continued to live in the house I built on West Main Street, raising their family there as well. Their son, Joseph, lived in the house until his passing in 2015. The home is now owned by my great-great-great-grandson, Joshua Nurberg. That's me. It warms my heart to see how my family has grown and how the community has grown. I am so grateful that I was able to contribute even a small amount to the success of Westphalia.